Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something that, well, it affects anyone who has spent their life building up wealth or running a business in South Africa.
Yeah, and before we even get into the mechanics of it all, I want you to just imagine something for a second. Imagine you've worked your entire life to build a business.
Right? Giving up weekends, all of that.
Exactly. You've sacrificed, you've strategized late into the night, and you finally built up a real legacy for your family. And you want to protect it, right? So you put it all in this secure legal structure.
The ultimate fortress.
Yeah, a fortress. But then out of nowhere, a sudden medical tragedy hits. And when your family rushes to access the money you so carefully set aside for them, they find out that the very structure you built to protect them has completely locked them out.
Oh, wow.
The bank accounts are frozen, the property is stuck, and your family is left entirely stranded.
Which is just a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
And that's exactly our mission today. We are looking at a comprehensive legal briefing on trustee succession in South Africa, along with the professional insights of Lumka Sturman. Right. She's a specialized South African trust consultant. And we're going to explain why setting up a properly structured trust is the ultimate way to protect your wealth, but also what catastrophic things can go wrong if you ignore the human element of your trust.
Because that's the vulnerability, right? The people.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how working with a specialist can actually turn your business into a lasting legacy instead of a trap.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we dive into the nightmare scenarios of frozen bank accounts, we really need to understand the why.
The baseline.
Like, why would a business owner even want one of these structures? People hear trust, and they just think, endless paperwork and legal fees.
Well, it all comes down to the core philosophy of risk. I always say your business protects your income, but a trust protects your wealth.
Which is a very distinct difference.
It is. Because an operating company carries all the risk. You've got potential lawsuits, liquidations, audits from SARS, general economic chaos. If you keep all your wealth sitting in your personal bank account or inside the business itself, one bad lawsuit can wipe out everything you own. Literally everything.
So it's an asset protection fortress. You basically put your treasure in a reinforced vault while you ride out to do battle in the business world.
That's a great way to put it. The operating company is out there taking the hits, but the trust securely owns the actual assets.
And looking at the sources, the tax efficiency is just massive.
Oh, absolutely.
If it's structured right, it caps income tax at a flat 45% and capital gains tax at 36%. But the craziest part to me is the estate duty.
Avoiding that is huge.
Right. By moving assets into the trust, you halt the growth of your personal estate.
Yeah.
So you completely bypass those massive estate duties that usually just eat up generational wealth when someone passes away.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, wealthy families have used these exact structures for generations. It's how old money stays old money.
Yeah, separating legal ownership from beneficial enjoyment.
Exactly. And now small to medium business owners are realizing they can do this too. You don't have to be a billionaire to build this financial firewall.
But, and it's a big name, but a fortress is only as good as the guards who run it. Which brings us to the hidden vulnerability. What happens when the captain vanishes?
Yeah, this is where the system completely breaks down for a lot of families.
Because a trust isn't a person.
No, it's just a legal arrangement. It's a piece of paper. It has to operate through its trustees, and those fiduciary duties are strictly personal.
Meaning you can't just hand them off to someone else.
Right, you can't delegate it. So when a trustee dies, their office terminates immediately. It just creates a complete administrative freeze.
And the briefing gives this unbelievable example, the Mbeki family.
Oh, that case is heartbreaking.
So Mr. Mbeki had this family trust. It held a 15 million rand portfolio.
A very healthy trust.
Yeah, and the trust deed required 3 trustees to act. It was him, his wife, and his brother. And then, completely unexpectedly, Mr. Mbeki died.
Leaving only 2 trustees.
Right, which meant they didn't meet the minimum of 3 anymore. The bank immediately froze the trust account because they needed his specific signature.
It's just a cascade of failures.
And the craziest part? It took the master of the High Court 4 whole months to approve Mrs. Mbeki's sister as a replacement. During that time, property rates fell into arrears, and Mrs. Mbeki had to fund the trust expenses with her own personal money.
While grieving her husband.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
wait, so if I set up a trust to protect my family, but I'm in a car crash, my trust could literally freeze my family's bank accounts precisely when they are grieving and need money the most. Why can't the remaining trustees just carry on?
Because the bank isn't going to take on that liability. If your trust deed is silent, if it doesn't have specific rules for emergencies, then default legal rules apply.
And those default rules are brutal.
They are. The banks and conveyancers will demand updated letters of authority from the master's office, and that office is incredibly backlogged. They won't allow a single transaction until that paperwork is perfectly in order.
Okay, so death is messy, but the briefing actually points out that death is legally straightforward compared to the alternative.
Oh, definitely. With death, you at least have a death certificate. There's a clear legal endpoint.
Right. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the true nightmare is incapacity.
Yeah, when a trustee is still alive but loses their mental capacity, it creates a total legal vacuum.
Because they're still technically in the position, right?
Exactly. The position is filled, but it's totally non-functional. And that paralyzes any decisions that need a quorum or unanimous consent.
And the sources break this down into sudden incapacity versus gradual incapacity. Let's talk about the sudden one first. The Delammy family.
Yeah, it was a business disaster.
Yeah. Mr. Delammy had a severe stroke, and his wife, the other trustee, suddenly found out she couldn't authorize any business transactions over 100,000 Rand for their trust-owned manufacturing business.
Because the trust deed required his signature too, and he was medically unable to give it.
And they ended up losing a 2 million Rand annual contract because she couldn't legally commit to a customer.
Over a legal technicality, it's tragic.
But then there's gradual incapacity. And the briefing calls this the insidious threat.
Because families live in total denial about it.
Like the Van Wyck family.
Yeah.
Mr. Van Wyck Sr. developed dementia.
But he stubbornly refused to resign.
Right. And you can't just fire him. It took the family 8 months and 150,000 Rand in legal fees just to remove him through the courts.
While the trust was essentially paralyzed.
Yeah, it caused a commercial property sale to fall through, and they ultimately lost 400,000 Rand in value on the property.
All because they didn't want to confront the cognitive decline until the financial damage was already done.
And it's not always just a freeze. Look at the Peterson family. Mrs. Peterson's judgment slowly declined.
Right, she started making active mistakes.
Huge ones. A grandchild pressured her into making bad distributions. She started investing trust money into those phone scams.
Oh.
And she completely failed to file SARS returns. It ended up costing the trust 800,000 Rand.
That is precisely why you cannot rely on generic documents. Because these families, they were relying on what the briefing calls Trust A.
The generic copied and pasted template.
Exactly. The off-the-shelf document that causes all these crises because it doesn't anticipate the human element.
But the good news here, and I know we've been terrifying everyone, is that there's a blueprint for continuity. All of this is preventable.
100% preventable.
And that's Trust B, the custom-drafted trust. It has clear succession plans, emergency quorum rules, and automatic successor provisions.
Which is exactly what saved the Reddy family.
Yes. The Reddy family story is amazing. So Mr. Reddy's brother died, right? And then just 2 weeks later, Mr. Reddy was hospitalized.
So they went from 3 trustees down to 1 in 14 days.
Under normal rules, that trust is completely frozen. But because they planned ahead, a named professional trust company automatically became the interim co-trustee.
What's fascinating here is that professional trustees don't die.
Right.
They don't get dementia. They don't get into car crashes. They are the ultimate safety net.
It's brilliant. Their adult son was seamlessly nominated, the banking didn't skip a single beat, and the crisis was entirely averted. No high court applications, no frozen accounts.
Just smooth continuity, but to get that, you need an expert. You can't just scribble this stuff on a napkin and hope the bank accepts it.
Right. You need an architect for the fortress. Enter the guide. Lumke Sturman.
She is the exact type of specialist you need for this. As a trust consultant, she simplifies all that complex legal jargon.
Which is desperately needed because trust law is so dense.
It really is. She comes in, assesses your personal versus business exposure, and amends those outdated trust deeds.
Basically upgrading you from Trust A to Trust B.
Exactly, and she acts as the bridge to the master's office so you aren't dealing with that bureaucracy yourself.
And when you look at the math of planning based on the sources, it's a no-brainer.
The math is very clear.
Not planning results in, 200,000 to 500,000 Rand in emergency legal fees and lost transactions?
Easily. Sometimes more.
But working with Lumke, a foundation audit is 25,970 Rand. A full blueprint session is 39,990 Rand.
And she does annual maintenance for 47,900 Rand.
Which is just a fraction of the cost of a crisis.
It's buying total peace of mind. Reaching out to Lumca isn't a sales pitch. It's honestly taking a crucial, empowering step to secure your family's legacy.
You want to do it before a crisis forces your hand. Listeners can actually visit her website. It's www.lumcasterman.com.
They should definitely get on the asset protection waitlist there.
For sure. It's LUMKASTUURMAN.com. So what does this all mean?
To sum it all up.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that trusts are, without a doubt, the ultimate wealth protectors. They shield you from risk, and they save you a fortune in taxes.
But a fortress is only as strong as the succession plan of the guards who run it.
Exactly. The human element is the single point of failure.
Which leaves you with something really important to think about. You might feel entirely in control of your business and your assets today.
Right.
But if your trust deed hasn't been updated in 10 years, does a piece of outdated paper actually control your family's destiny?
That is a chilling thought. Just assuming everything is fine because you signed some papers a decade ago.
It's the biggest mistake people make.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Make sure your fortress is actually secure. We'll catch you next time.